Greetings, Virtual Village family. How are you all doing this evening? I hope everybody is doing well. The time is just moving, moving, moving. We are mid-February now already. So I feel like time is moving quickly. But hey, I'm very excited to be here this evening with the family. And of course, I have my wonderful co-host with me. And y'all know that on Tuesdays we cut up. We get it in all around literacy, culture, community, and love. So it is always a pleasure. How are you doing this evening, Rodney?
I am doing wonderful. It's nice to have at least a half a day with no rain and had a little warm temperature in there. So
Hey.
that was nice.
Yeah, I got turn the thermostat down, because I know mine has been up, because I don't do cold. I do not do cold. So definitely enjoyed the little warmth that came through. And yeah, I'm about to enjoy this show that we have for the night. We have a great lineup. If you guys don't know, Tuesday is Community Connector night, is Community Connection. And so we have a great community connector on here tonight who you all are going to enjoy. We're not going to give it all away just yet because you got to tune in to find out who she is and what she is bringing. But definitely you want to stay tuned for that. But a little bit with Rodney and I, we were chopping it up prior to going live. And we were talking about having seen Judas and the Black Messiah. If you guys are not aware, that it's the movie that is being billed as a movie about Fred Hampton. That's debatable, or to the extent of which it is about Fred Hampton. But he and I were discussing that and how we feel about that, and the emotions that were pulled up, despite the fact that we are pretty well versed on his life and what happened to him. Nonetheless, it took a toll on the emotions. How are you? Have you put your warrior suit back on, Rodney, or are you still feeling it a little
No,
bit?
no, it's like I was saying, saying to you earlier, it hit me at a vulnerable spot. When you think about Chairman Fred being 21 years old, you think about uh, Weaver, the gentleman who was involved as the snitch. He was 17 years old. We know when he got arrested. So I think about my own children. I think about the times I remember the first time I read up on COINTELPRO. I think my brother was at Howard University at the time and brought a book home on COINTELPRO, and I think I remember reading that back in high school, and obviously have read about it many times over, and have gotten FBI files on people that I know, and read some of that activity. And so it caught me at a vulnerable moment. It kind of knocked me out for a few hours, and but I think it's worthy of viewing, if for no other reason than having the discussion and people who aren't familiar getting one take on it at least, and hopefully it will drive people to read. And of course, the whole time throughout the movie, I'm thinking of your good friend, and who's been up here with us many times to read, and the stories that she's told and the books that she's read. So that resonated with me throughout the entire movie, because it just added another personal dimension that I otherwise would not have, but for the virtual village.
Yeah, it hurt when people say laugh out loud. I cried out loud. And so, but it's necessary. It's something that we can't run from. It's something that we have to run to. And I did pose a challenge because, as you said, if nothing else, when these types of things come out, the discussion that comes afterwards. But when I posted a status about it, there was a young brother who came up there and he said that he did not feel that he 45 minutes into the film, and he didn't feel that it was giving him enough information of who Fred Hampton was or why he should be celebrated, and he turned it off. And so I proposed a challenge to him to finish watching it and to go and spend at least an hour this week doing independent research about Fred Hampton, And at that point, he and I are going to get together on Sunday, and he's going to talk to me about what he found versus what happened on the movie. And I would encourage anybody to do that. And I even tell people, start with YouTube, where you can find primary sources. You can actually find speeches of the chairman, and you can find this with a lot of historic people. Then you can move into books and different things. But hearing the words coming out of their own mouths are powerful as well. And so we have that. And I welcome anybody who wants to get in on that challenge. You all are welcome. Just let me know. He and I believe, are supposed to do this on Sunday. If I need to make it a Zoom, I'll make time to make it the Zoom, because it's all about knowing who we are. And we have said literacy is a weapon, history as a weapon for us to propel, to move forward, and to be prepared in doing so. So that's our take on the Fred Hampton movie right now. We will allow more of you all to see it, and possibly we might jump up here and go a little deeper at some point. We have a wonderful greeting here from Miss Letitia. Always glad to see the family. Gang. She says, great evening, CCIA family, and great evening to you, sis. We are so glad to see you. And so after we talked about something that was so necessary, but also it's just necessary. But it's a way that we must feel. It's a way that it's dutiful for us to feel that way. But right now we are going to kick into this dynamic lady. Some of you all know her. Some of you all may be introduced to her right here, right now. And then she's going to give us a whole different mood. She's about to inspire us. And then we have our girl Kalia coming through with our historic figure for the night. So don't you guys go anywhere. Get this history, get this culture right now.
Greetings, virtual villagers. My name is Shania, and do you know what time it is? It's affirmation time! Time to remind ourselves how great we are. So everybody, repeat after me. I am smart. I have purpose. I am confident. I am valuable. My voice is worthy of being heard. I am an asset to my family, school, and community. I respect myself and I respect others. I am beautifully made inside and out. I love my beautiful hair and I love my beautiful brown skin. I am more than enough. Great job, virtual villagers. Can I get a virtual high five? Great job. And always remember how fantastic you are.
Virtual villagers, I'm back. It's Kalia, and here's today's moment in history. Paul Robeson. When it comes to using one celebrity for the betterment of the oppressed, few did it better than Paul Leroy Robeson. Being an All-American athlete at the Rutgers was the first step that propelled Robeson into stardom, but it was his voice and presence that took him into the world stage. Having such a beautiful bass baritone voice and a command on his body on stage, Robeson became a theatrical star, with his wife as Yolanda Good Robeson acting as his manager. What sets the Robesons apart from other celebrities is that the Robesons never forgot their morals or principles. During the House Un-American Activities Committee, Robeson was called down to be badgered and berated for his communist ties that he expertly swatted away using the Columbia Law knowledge. Robeson also went on to petition the United Nations for America's mistreatment of Black people and what would then become the book, We Charge Genocide. A holistic love for justice and Black people was the driving force behind Paul Robeson's life and work, and he is a shining example of what happens when Blackness is affirmed and cherished.
The Virtual Village Show is back with Season 4, starting February 1st every Monday through Wednesday. The Virtual Village is ready to inspire all ages. Our industry-leading teachers are here to reinforce foundational literacy skills, provide culturally affirming literature, and we have exciting Black history facts for the entire family. Log on today at clevercommunities.org or visit our social media pages.
After the holidays are over, most Americans prepare for taxes. Titan Tax is ready to make filing your taxes as stress-free as possible. This veteran-owned virtual tax office will prepare and submit your tax return safely from the comfort of your home. If you filed unemployment for the first time or wondering about home office tax deductions, Titan Tax Professional has the answer for you. Contact us today at TitanTax.com or 757-565-7781. Titan Tax, real help from real people.
Look, I feel affirmed and well earned, okay? All right. Shania comes through every time with that affirmation. And I promise, no matter what the mood is, she uplifts it exponentially. And then Kalia comes through with that moment in history and hits that target and lets us know the things that we need to know about our historic figures, our ancestors, or historic events. And it's Black History Month. I mean, we do this 365 days a year, but definitely right here, right now, where everybody is tuned in, even at times when they may not have been tuned in before. These facts are here for you to get every day. And we run the Black History Facts from season 3 on Mondays through Wednesdays. So you guys can be on the Clever Communities in Action Facebook page or Instagram, and you can get some facts bite-sized about Black history. And then we have Sister Tiffany here. How are you doing, sis? It's funny because she and I are overdue a conversation about Judas and the Black Messiah. She's another one who is on it and always feels and teaches, from a loving and again, a dutiful perspective. So shout out to Sister Tiffany and all of our villagers who are tuned in right now. So now it is time. This is Community Connector Night. So it's time to make that connection. I know growing up, they used to sing in church, reach out and touch somebody's hand. So right now we are about to reach out and virtually touch our community connector. So Mr. Rodney, can you tell everybody a little bit about this dynamic guest we have tonight?
Well, I'm just going to get a little snippet, and I'm so thankful that we have the opportunity to have this community connector with us tonight. You know, as African American man, there's always been this journey around dealing with feelings and emotions, especially in times of death, grief, hardship. You know, even in the pandemic, you know, we've seen a lot of issues around individuals, families children being able to deal with, you know, the loss of seeing people, the loss of being around folks, and unfortunately, in this pandemic, we know that we've been dealing with a lot of loss of life. And so we have a community connector who is an author, is an entrepreneur, is someone I have met in terms of being involved in the community, but also someone who, for me personally, you know, at a time when I was dealing with some things, you know, just kind of, I think I ran into her at a grocery store one day. I can't remember where we were. Matter of fact, I think it was at an event in Norfolk at a local high school, and she was there sharing a book that she had produced that was really designed around helping children deal with some grief during some challenging times. And when I read the book, it was helpful to me. And so I said to her, I said, you know, I'm working with this wonderful person, Star Armstrong, with Clever Communities in Action in the Virtual Village, and I would love to get the two of you connected. And I think She reached out, you reached out, and so now we are pleased and honored with us to have our great community connector for the evening, Deborah Frye, who will come up and she can share so much more about all that she does and what she has done and the great work that she's been involved in, both in the community, but also helping to meet the social emotional needs of adults and children alike. So pleased to have with us Deborah Frye.
Hello, everybody.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Rodney is a man of his word. He said he was going to connect us, and he is right. We were in a high school. We ran into each other. Then we ran into, I think, a store. It was Harris Teeter, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right, it was.
And he mentioned it again, and voila, here we are during our Black History Month. During the middle of this pandemic, and it's perfect timing.
It is excellent timing. And you look lovely, by the way, and I am loving those glasses.
Thank you.
Have on. That is great. And
thank you.
Look, give us a little bit of information, because we're going to talk more about it after you read, but tell us a little bit about what it is that you do.
Well, what I do is I am the bridge to help people get from their deep sadness back over the bridge to some new hope, to some self-assurance, to some coping skills. And I am their partner to let them know that they're not alone and they are going to make it through whatever deep sadness it is, whether it is the loss of a loved one. Right now with the pandemic going on, the children are missing their friends. They're not able to go outside and play as they normally would. So I am that bridge to help people get from one side of the deep sadness back over to some smiles and some grief giggles.
That's so important. That is definitely important. And as you mentioned, during this pandemic, I'm pretty sure that the need for that has been heightened. And I literally, since we've been on air, got a text message from a friend talking about having a close friend who passed away from COVID-19 on my birthday. And that it's been really tough for her dealing with that, the loss, and trying to be there for her friend's family. So what you do is definitely important. And, we need those people, those connectors, as you said, to get us from, those dark places to, coming back to feeling whole again as much as we can. So we appreciate that. And I believe you have a tool, right? That you wrote something.
I have a tool. I actually
is helpful to our little ones about this, right?
Right now, what it is my book. What About Me? I'm Sad Too. And this title was just ringing in my spirit for so long. What about me? I'm sad too, because we forget about our children, right? We forget that they are grieving. We forget that they have deep sadness. We forget that they're struggling with their own personalities, their characters, their feelings. So the book, What About Me? I'm Sad Too, is a wonderful tool, and I have designed it so that you can't just tell the child to go off in a corner and read the book. I put some things in here for that trusted grown-up too, because I want the child and a trusted grown-up. And I intentionally did not call them parents, because everybody doesn't have the title of parent in their life, but they do. So everybody have an auntie, they have a teacher that they love. They have other loved ones that's not necessarily don't have the title of parent. So I call them grown-ups, trusted grown-ups in the book. And you can use the book to walk through the grief as well with the children. And as I read, you'll be able to see more of the pictures as well. And it's an activity book. So it's not something that you just read and put it down. You are able to put your heart on the paper in this book. You're able to journal through my book. You're able to express your feelings in my book. You're able to write a letter to your trusted grown-up to let them know how you feel if you're not able to say it, because sometimes we can tell a child, just tell us how you feel, and they're kind of reserved to not show their feelings. But if you give them a tool to let them write, they may be able to give you words and things that how they're really feeling. And I tell people all the time to write your heart on the paper, because when you read it back to yourself, it will minister back to you, and you will get some help by reading your own words. So yeah, it's a great book. On the front, you see the children are sad. They have a dog named Pepper, which is my actual dog. He's made the book. And then after going through the book, which we'll go through, you'll see that on the back, they have crossed the bridge to where they're back to some happy times. They're back to playing with Pepper. They're back to being able to share their feelings with one another once again. So as I read the book, you'll see a lot of the different activities that are in the book for the tender hearts, the little tender hearts, and the big tender hearts alike.
That's excellent. So, although I have a lot of thoughts and questions, I think everybody, judging by what our virtual villagers are saying in the comment section, and shout out to everybody tuned in and interacting right now. We are going to step away and let you read, Ms. Frye. So, you ready?
I am ready to go.
All right, you guys, villagers, y'all ready? Let's hear it. It's a wonderful thing.
All right, villagers, here we go. What about me? I'm sad too. Okay. What about me? I'm sad too. Let me get to my first page. This book was dedicated to my grandchildren because I wanted to leave something for them to have. So the book is dedicated for my grandchildren. Okay. And as you see the mom or the auntie holding the little girl because she's sad. And right here, the wording is, we don't mean it, but sometimes we grown-ups forget that you are sad too. And we are sorry for that and don't mean to make you feel that way. Remember, it is okay to feel sad, confused, and not be able to control when you cry. You are never alone, and you can talk to us anytime you want. We promise to listen. We promise, grown-ups, right? We promise to listen. Another word for the way you are feeling is grief. Have you ever heard of that word, grief? Another way that you're feeling is grief. And I'm trying to get the book in the right spot, okay? And what we want you to know is that grief is deep sadness. If you don't learn anything else, know that the word grief means deep sadness. You can be sad deeply about a lot of things, right? You can be sad about losing a family pet. You can be sad about being bullied in school. Okay, you can be sad about moving away from your friends. Right now, you're in this pandemic and it is kind of hard. It could be kind of hard for a lot of children. Now, some kids like to lay home and because it's like a vacation. So you get to learn from home, right? Okay, some more feelings. You can be confused. You can be mad. You can feel different. When you have deep sadness, lonely, guilty, tired. So these are some of the feelings, your emotions that you may feel. But in the book, you're able to write it on paper. You're able to write your feelings down. And it's very important to be able to express yourself and tell people how you feel. All right, sad, mad. You know, a lot of times you need to write, you need to, because that will help you understand how you feel. And once you get to the trusted grown-up that you have and share with them, they're able to expound on it and they're able to help you understand maybe a little bit better why you're feeling that way. All right, even in the book also, you're able to write down things that make us happy when we think about different things or different people. So the book is an activity book where you can color, you can write things down, you can write a note, some fun facts, you can create pictures in the book, all right? And then I have pages in here to tell you what other things you can do when you are feeling sad, things that you're probably doing right now with you being at home with this pandemic, right? A lot of you are probably looking at games or looking at movies, or you are talking to your friends on what is it called, Zoom or Skype or whatever, FaceTime. So you're able to stay connected that way. So it's very important that the grown-up in your life help you to find ways to stay connected, to understand your emotion. And the question, what is grief? Can you tell me what is the meaning of grief? Deep sadness. Grief is deep sadness. I want you to know that. If you don't know anything else today, I want you to learn that. Okay, so you can write a letter. You can share a story. Of course, you can remember nice emotions in your heart, good feelings in your heart. You can memories that you tuck away in your heart, right? So there are so many things in my book that you can do. You can do pictures, you can color, you can write names of your family members that you absolutely love and adore. And that way you can keep them in the hearts and in the stars of your mind, the hearts and the stars of your mind. I have some beautiful quotes for our children. Okay. Beautiful quotes where it will encourage you. And the time of affirmation that we just had not too long ago, that was cool, right? I got so excited when I was listening to that. But we have quotes here that you can go over when you're feeling sad, or when you're feeling mad, or when you're just don't know what to do and don't know why. Sometimes we feel sad and we don't even know why. It's just we just don't feel like playing. We don't feel like doing anything. So it's always good to have some good books of inspiration, books of knowledge, books of hope, things that you can keep your mind active, right? Things for you to keep your mind active. Okay. So don't let what you can't do stop you from doing what you can. Don't let what you can't do stop you from doing what you can. So that means whatever you know to do that until you learn something else. But don't just not do anything because you think you don't know how to do the one thing maybe you really want to do. You have to do what you can and then learn more. Okay? You're braver than you believe, and stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. Isn't that some good affirmation? You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. So there are so many wonderful things in here. For the grown-up, it also it helps them to know, just in case you're struggling, what things to look for. So in this book, it's almost like a cheat sheet, right? You get the answers to know for your questions already. So it's just wonderful information. I have more grown-up notes. There are just so many things that you can do and your trusted grown-up can do. I have 2 pages of notes for them, right? Because they need to learn about grief and deep sadness along with you. It's always better when you have a partner in this thing, because that way you know you're never alone. You're never, ever alone when you have deep sadness, when you're going through your emotion, when you don't know quite why you're feeling the way you're feeling. It's always good to have someone to talk to, right? So that is wonderful. I just love this poem here. I think I can thoughts, right? I think I can thoughts. The rainbow poem. And guess what, kids? At the end of the night, it is always good to have a good poem or a prayer. For me, it's always good, I think, to have a prayer to read as you are going to sleep at night. Okay, so get that grown up by the hand and tell them we're going to pray tonight before we go to sleep. Or whatever makes you happy, cookies, a glass of milk, whatever it is that you can do to put yourself at ease, to ease your mind. But these are some great things. And then as you're done with this book, it 9 times out of 10 will have you feeling better. It will answer a lot of questions. And then the questions that you may have that your grown-up may not be able to answer. Reading in this book, they may find the answer, or they can call me, or they can read another book if they like. But it is a wonderful tool. What about me? I'm sad too. So as you're going through any kind of deep sadness, I want you to say, I have deep sadness, which is grief. I'm going to sit down, calm my mind. I'm going to let my grown-up know how I'm feeling. So now is a time to share, because we know during this time of pandemic, a lot is going on. Some of you are not able to go to school. You have to wear a mask everywhere you go. Everything is just a little bit different, but different doesn't mean that everything is bad. So take the good with the bad and just understand that there is good in everything. And I want you to see your glass as half full instead of half empty. Ask a grown-up about that and see if they can explain that to you. Okay? Well, again, my name is Deborah Frye. I am your grief care consultant. I would love to work with you. If you need me, you just let your trusted grown-up know. All of my books are on Amazon.com. So you can go there to get my book, or they can find me on Facebook under my name, and I'll make sure that I can get a book to you. I do a drive-by. So if you want a book soon, I have a few books on hand that I can get you a book. And I just want you all to know that you are never alone. You are loved. You are special. And the future is your brightest thing. You are able to do whatever you put your mind to. Okay? Thank you so much for listening.
That was wonderful. That was wonderful. Thank you so much, Ms. Frye.
You.
That was great.
Thank you.
Let's go to comments that we got here. You got a lot of love from the Virtual Village family.
Oh,
so
awesome.
Miss Stark says, a tool and a way that our children can express themselves, which is really good for them. Yes, yes. And then we have, let's see who else here. We have Miss Teresa said, love this topic. Love this topic. It is so
Awesome.
important. And then we have Miss Mary said, thank you for this. And then we have, let's see here. Letitia says, great message and activities in your book, Miss Frye. One of my great nieces needs this book. My apologies if you provided order details, but if you would share it, thank you. So let's get that graphic up here again. You guys, she did share that you can find it on Amazon. You can go to her Facebook page. And if you happen to be in the Hampton Roads area, she will drive by and give you a book.
I'll make sure
that you purchase. So.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll make sure that I put my email address. Can I put it in the chat here? And then you all will put it out? How can I do that?
Definitely. We'll make sure that it gets out, okay? Because this chat right here, they won't be able to see it, but we will make sure that we drop it in the chat after the fact. And if you want to say it right now, you definitely can do that.
Sure. My email address is dfrye.gcc@gmail.com. dfrye.gcc@gmail.com. And you can send me
so that's how you can get the book. And also if you are interested in her services, because I think that you are the thing that so many of us need and didn't realize that it was there or that we needed it. So that's wonderful. Yeah. And so you guys see right here on Amazon, pulled up here, lets you know exactly what to go to and where you can find it. Awesome. So go ahead, Ms. Frye.
I was going to say, just before we went on to lockdown for the pandemic, I was able to go to an elementary school. I think it was in Suffolk. I went to an elementary school in Suffolk, and I stayed there all day. And I was able to meet with the children as they came in for their library time. So I had probably 10 groups of children that I was able to kind of share my book with. And we just had a day of I taught them what the word grief was, which is a word that most children don't learn. So I wanted to add to their vocabulary, and give them the simple definition that grief is deep sadness. And we just had a day of them just sharing their emotion, just sharing how they were feeling. And you'll be surprised well, you won't be surprised because you deal with children all the time, but you were just to hear what children are going through, what they have to deal with at such a young age. And now even the more in this being swarmed with this social media stuff and all of these. We didn't have all of this stuff when I was little. I didn't have all of that stuff. So my day was doing hopscotch and playing with the Bobby Jacks and 1, 2, 3 red light and stoplight and all of that stuff. But you find children not even wanting to go outside because they want to FaceTime, they want to text, they want to play games. So they're missing out on a lot of the fundamentals, I think, that we grew up with. So, but I had a wonderful time when I spent with the children all day, just hearing them. I mean, I fell in love with so many kids that one day that I was with them. And I still reach back out to the teachers now that the schools are closed, just to see if there's anybody that need my assistance, or talking to parents or grown-ups, because they too need encouragement as well during this time. Those that have to leave their children, that just don't want to leave their kids. So it's tough right now.
It is. It definitely is. So again, we appreciate you for writing this book and also for counseling people through this. And, it's something, as Rodney spoke to in the beginning, that has always been needed. But as you keep, making us aware of, is more so now. And I think even people who work with children sometimes may be surprised if you're not taking the time to ask the right questions, all of the things that are on their hearts and in their minds on a daily basis. So, and the response from our Virtual Village family is really strong here. So this book is timely. And books, again, literacy matters. Literacy is liberation. Literacy frees us in so many ways. This is the literacy game. And the book is a great tool because you are giving people, because it's hard for some people to be able to talk about this. A lot of us don't know the right words to say. And the book is a tool to help get that conversation going. And then you've made it interactive. So that is invaluable right now. We really, really appreciate you for that. And then, it just wouldn't be me if I didn't do this. We are, we got to get going with our time. But I have a question. I have a question. Have you ever heard of people grieving the loss of ancestors? Again, when Rodney and I were talking about the film that we watched, and people who are heavily entrenched in this work that we do, as far as racial dynamics and liberation and all of these different things, and we know the atrocities that have happened, within this country and across the globe. And so we were watching the Fred Hampton movie, and I said, I wept out loud. They're always like, laugh out loud. Well, I wept out loud. Yeah. Have you encountered that?
Yes. And that's all. This is what we do. We are such people of emotion and feeling. We cannot know people, yet we still are burdened with grief. I could not sit down and look at the whole movie because I was so grief-stricken by the we see injustices all the time, but this was just at such maybe I just could not take anymore. But it was just at a heightened level to be betrayed by people that were so closely to you, that you gave everything of yourself to them, but yet they were still able to infiltrate and be the person, pretend to be the person that you thought they were, but they were the person that the adversary wanted them to be. And so I could not, when I saw the scene where they had actually went into their home, and I was asking, okay, Megan, what did they, why is he asleep? What did they give him? And to know that they gave him a drug to where he could not wake up or move, for them to go in to then kill him, I had to leave the room because I could not take any more of it. So yes, you're absolutely right. It will put you in a tailspin. And like Rodney said, it threw me off for a few hours, and it will do that. It will do that. So yes, you're absolutely right. Because we weren't back in that time, but just knowing the history of that time, it connects us to it. It connects us to it. So yes, we grieve, we weep, we pray for it, we get angry about it. So we have all of those emotions that are going on. All of those emotions that are going on.
Yeah, and what I found, start if I may, what I found so brilliant about your book and your tools. So if as adults we are struggling with those type of emotions, how do we then provide comfort or be in tune with what children are observing? They watch us. Sometimes, unfortunately, we talk around them when maybe we shouldn't. They're exposed, as you mentioned, to the news and the media far more than probably as things once were. So you never really know what a child may be going through. And I just appreciated the way that your book provides, as Star said, that tool in that way for both children and adults to express themselves, but especially for children. Because I know during this pandemic, I hear from parents all the time, and they are struggling with trying to figure out what their child is dealing with, or what the young person that they are working with is dealing with. And I just think your book and your tool provides an important pathway for being able for adults to see what children are dealing with, and for children to have a way of communicating to adults that maybe they wouldn't otherwise be able to find a path to do that. So I was just thankful of the book.
A lot of times when we're grieving, we're taught to put all the children in one room. All the kids are in the back room playing toys, playing games. All the grown-ups are out there grieving. I tell people, if a child is of age appropriate, they're mature enough, show them that it's okay to cry, it's okay to grieve, it's okay to be angry and not tear up a room, it's okay to have emotions, it's okay to be sorry for something you've done. So I tell people to be the grown-ups, to be the leader. The game we used to follow the leader, be the leader to show them emotion, what it's supposed to look like, what a healthy emotion is supposed to look like. Now if you are angry and tearing up a room, my God, please don't show that to the kid, but so here again, it makes nothing helps a grown-up to learn more than a child asking, can you show me? Can you teach me? Or why? Or, when I was coming up, you don't even ask why, what, you just don't say those W's. But now that we are growing up, and we are growing up to be better grown-ups, it's okay for a child to ask why and what, because we need to give them the answer. We need to give them an explanation. So, and I think that broadens children's emotions. It broadens their minds. It broadens their thought pattern, because you are talking to them with not so much gaga goo. You're giving them the right wording for them to be able to regurgitate what to say, how to feel, how to act. So it's very important for us to be their teachers.
Yes, preparing them to be able to deal with those emotions, and also, deal with the realities of life, in age appropriate ways. So
my God, it's tough.
I think It is. And I think this was wonderful. Definitely, again, the Virtual Village family is excited about your book and what it is that you do. We run her email address by here one more time before she leaves us to make sure that anyone who would like to reach out to her for her services or to the drive-by book is able to do so. And you can also look her up on Amazon to be able to find her book. So I was hoping we could get that email address and run across there one more time. But
it is DFRYE.GCC@gmail.com. There it is running. You guys are so tech savvy. I love it. Look at it going across the screen.
Thank you.
There you go.
We have a wonderful team. We have a wonderful team. It definitely takes a village.
That's awesome.
So again, we want to thank you. And before we let you go, there is a thing that has to be done, okay? You cannot leave without being inducted into the literacy gang. So you are now an official member of the literacy gang. That means that you are now open to get this literacy, culture, community, and love. You cannot escape it. You are a part of this gang. It is here for you all the time. This love is going to get you all the time. You are welcome back anytime you wish. So welcome. Everybody, let's welcome Mrs. Frye to the literacy gang. Give her a big hand. Yes. Thank you.
I have to get a t-shirt. I have to get one of those t-shirts.
Okay. Yes, definitely. We will make that happen. We can make that happen so you can represent for your new gang now. Yeah. Again, I keep referencing being a child in the church. And then, after the baptism, they say, we got another soldier. So we got another member in the literacy gang now, and she is a valuable member. Yes. So thank you so much for this. And thank you, Rodney, for introducing her to the Virtual Village show, the Virtual Village family. What a wonderful, wonderful gem you have been. Thank you. And we look forward to having you back, okay?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. You have a great evening.
Do the same.
Well, that was wonderful. We definitely enjoyed her. Such an important and timely topic here. Like when she shared what she does and what her book is about, I immediately was like, yes, we need this. I think she reached out when we were between seasons.
Right.
And it was like, oh no, hold that thought, because we definitely have a place for you. And it just has turned out to be so important. And we do have to have these conversations now more than ever, and any tools that can help us. And it's coming from a place of experience, expertise, and it's coming from a place of love, which is always a criteria for me. Is it coming from a genuine space? And it definitely is here. We see the passion, we see the love, we see the concern and the dedication. So y'all make sure you look up Mrs. Frye and y'all get with that plan, because she helps you get from the bridge of the dark side over there back to the happy side. And that's where we want to be. That's where Rodney and I want all of our Virtual Village family to be. And again, there is no shame. There is no shame in reaching out for matters like this. So we definitely appreciate it. And one more time, in case you forgot, it is What About Me? I'm Sad Too, a children's grief activity book. There it is. So you mosey right on over there to Amazon and you get that book, okay? All right. So now, you guys, we have a quick word from our sponsors, and then Miss Peyton has something for you, okay? So don't you go anywhere. Boo.
Cammie's Closet, an upscale resale clothing, vintage clothing, handbag, and shoes online store. Cammie's Closet, spelled with a K, not with a T, is a small upscale resale boutique that carry gently used name brand clothing, vintage clothing, shoes, and handbags. Cammie's Closet is all about rediscovering, upcycling, and selling clothes of all kinds. Cammie's Closet believes it's an underappreciated form of clothing, and they started a win-win for everyone. The true value of resale. Cammie's Closet is very aficionado, passionate about rediscovering, upcycling and reselling upscale resale and vintage clothing of all kinds. Go to Cami'sCloset.com. That's K, not a T, A-M-I-S, not a C, L-O-S-E-T. Cami'sCloset.com.
Greetings, virtual villagers. I am Peyton, and today's quote is from Paul Robeson. The artist must elect to fight for freedom or for slavery.
All right, there it is. So, again, that was a wonderful time we had with Mrs. Frye. And Miss Tiffany is here. Hi there, sis. We are glad to see you. She said, what did you miss? You missed a lot, but we are glad that you are here right now. And she says she's late, but she's here, and she loves vintage clothing. Okay, so you got to check out Cammie's Closet. All right, you got to check out Cammie's Closet. And then she is wishing Peyton, she is giving Peyton a greeting and some love. So Peyton is through hardcore with these quotes. Okay, Peyton put all the passion of, in that little 12-year-old body that she has. She comes through with so much passion. The ancestors, I witnessed it happen at one point. Well, I can't remember who it was, but I had the words in my hand, and I just threw it down. I threw it across the room because I was like, my goodness, Strange, you just shut it down. So, that's what our young people are bringing top to bottom, from Shania to Kalia to Peyton. They put their heart and souls in this. There is no half-stepping with them. They understand that they are members of this virtual village and this literacy gang, and they understand the duty they have to their community. And I promise you, they did it with the spirit of their ancestors. They did not take it lightly. So we appreciate them this season, as well as the young people we had in the previous season. They are coming with it. And it is all about giving our young people new experiences, opportunities, and visibility. And of course, y'all know we have Jaimir. He's in front of the camera and behind the camera doing his thing. So we are proud of them all. So you guys make sure you give a virtual hand clap and send some love to the young people of the virtual village. And so right now, we just a little bit of time left, but we did want to talk about real briefly, our historic figure for the night, again, is Paul Robeson. So Kalia and Peyton brought you information about him. And so we have a children's book that we want to recommend to you guys. We don't have a lot of time to really dig into this, but Paul Robeson is a very important figure, a brave figure, and a multi-talented figure. A lot of times people are, they may excel in sports, they may excel in the arts, they excel in one or the other. He did it all. He did it all, and he was fearless and he was brave during a time where it was very easy to lose your life and for your family to lose your life, to be outspoken. He was, nonetheless, he and his wife. So Rodney, let's we can run 2 pages. We can run 2 pages. And our goal is for you guys to know about this man and for you to add this to your book selection for your children, okay? Because it's Black History Month, but we definitely make sure we learn about our history and culture year round. But we want you all to add these books to the collection. And we know we have teachers who are tuned in as well. So these are books that you can add to your classroom. So we're going to run just 2 quick pages of this book. We're going to wet your palate a little bit, and then you guys go ahead and make that purchase. So I'll kick it off, Jordan, and then you can jump in. I'll spin that double Dutch rope for you. So let's see. When William D. Robeson was a boy, he was enslaved. He was not free, and he was forced to work without pay on a plantation in North Carolina. He hated being enslaved. He hated it so much that when he was 15 years old, he did a very dangerous thing. He ran away. If he had caught, the enslaver would have beaten him with a whip or killed him. But William Robeson was determined to be free. He escaped to the north where he went to school. After he graduated from college, he married Maria Louisa Bastille and became a pastor of the Witherspoon Street Presbyterian Church in Princeton, New Jersey. Princeton was a small town built around a big university. The university was for white students. White people who lived in the town often went to meetings and parties at the university. Black people went to meetings and parties at Reverend Robeson's church. On April 9th, 1898, in the parsonage of the church, the youngest child of Reverend and Mrs. Robeson was born. They named him Paul Leroy Robeson.
Reverend Robeson was 53 years old, not a young man when Paul was born. Mrs. Robeson was sickly and almost blind. Even with her thick glasses, she could not see very well. Still, Paul's mother, father and sisters and 3 brothers were all very happy to welcome the new baby into the family. When Paul was almost 3 years old, his father lost his position at the church because of an argument among the members. This was a hard blow for Reverend Robeson. Yet in his quiet, strong way, he went about finding a new way to support his family. He bought a horse named Bess and a wagon, and people who lived in Princeton paid him to take away the ashes from their coal furnaces. Paul often watched Bess pull the wagon into the backyard so his father could dump the ashes. Paul and Bess became good friends. Sometimes Reverend Robeson or Paul's brother Reeve hitched Bess to a large carriage and drove passengers where they wanted to go. Some of the passengers were students from Princeton University. More than once, Reeve fought these students for making insulting remarks about Black people. And this story just goes, so much more. And Star, if you don't mind, can I just read the afterword that was written about the book?
You do not have to ask about reading.
So let me just read this real quick. And again, this is a book by Eloise Greenfield, and it won the Coretta Scott King Award honor, Peace, Nonviolence, Social Change, and Brotherhood. But just a little bit more, since we didn't get a chance to go in depth. In April 1973, almost 3 years before the death of Paul Robeson, a 75th birthday celebration was held for him at Carnegie Hall in New York City. 20 famous stars performed in front of a large audience. Paul was too sick to attend. His son went in his place. Paul Jr. was as close to his father as Paul Robeson had been to his. Since Paul Robeson's death, much has been written about him, plays and films that dramatize his life, newspaper and magazine articles and books. Countless honors have been given in memory of his contributions. In 1995, more than 75 years after Paul was the Rutgers football hero, he was made a member of the College Football Hall of Fame. In February 1998, he was named the winner of a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award for his music. And throughout that year, people across the United States and the world celebrated Paul Robeson's 100th birthday. In 2004, the United States Postal Service issued, as part of its Black Heritage series, a first-class Paul Robeson postage stamp. During his illness, Paul Robeson spoke of his feelings about his work. Quote, "Though ill health has compelled my retirement," he said, "you can be sure that in my heart I go on singing. I must keep fighting until I'm dying." Paul Robeson lived and sang a purposeful life. The people of the world are fortunate that because of recordings, we can still hear the power, the richness, and the beauty of his voice. Paul Robeson.
Thank you for reading that. And of course, I have to go and say that, let's learn our heroes. All right. So I love, it's great that he was on the stamp, but let's understand the fact that when he was alive, he wasn't treated well by the government, by the country. He spoke up, he spoke out, he acted out. And again, it was during a time in which a person could be killed, he and his wife. So let's not sanitize what our ancestors dealt with and how they persevered through that. So even after people's death, a lot of times it's gleamed over like, oh yeah, great, he's on the stamp and everybody loved him and it was wonderful what he did. The block was hot, okay? Like it was not easy for him, and they lost out on a lot, and also the fact that they could have lost their lives. So definitely read up on this man. Definitely the fact that he was multi-talented, is a part. His brilliance, the orator that he was, the actor that he was, the athlete that he was, so many things that he was. It's important to know, and it can inspire our children who are looking to go those routes, but to also understand that within the art, there is a responsibility. I believe he has a great quote about that too. I have to find that. I have that written somewhere. But we have the debate all the time. A lot of times when it comes to hip hop, do the artists have the responsibility? And he was someone who definitely believed that they did, and he spoke out. He spoke out when again in so many ways that not everybody was brave enough to do that, and he had the platform and he used it to help liberate Black people in the United States of America and abroad. So know that part. No, don't look at these stories again and just be like, oh, that was so sweet, that was wonderful. Like, know the heroic aspect of these people, what makes them heroes, and the fact that we can be heroes during the time in which we live as well. Does not mean that you have to get a lot of accolades, that you have to be known nationally or globally. What did Rob Day say? I'm not internationally known, but I'm known to rock the microphone. Okay. So it does not take you being internationally known, but make sure that you are rocking it in the space in which you are. So with that said, Rodney, it is always a joy. Tuesday nights when you are up here and we get together and do our little thing, and we appreciate everybody tuning in with their little ones. We love the fact that you all are ordering these books, that you are adding these books to the home libraries of your children. When we bring wonderful community connectors up here, such as Mrs. Frye, that you guys are tuned in and you are ordering their books as well. And it's just a win all the way around. Literacy, culture, community, and love. We stay winning every night, right? So Rodney, I know I can go. So I'm gonna let you take us on out this evening.
Well, I think you said quite a bit. We started off, talking about Judas and the Messiah and the emotions that are surrounding that. We end with Paul Robeson, someone who, as you said, dealt with a lot of opposition. People hated him. They called him a communist. They treated him in a very poor way. But nevertheless, he found a way to triumph, and it's so much that we can learn in that story. So, and then of course we had the great Miss Deborah Frye in the middle. I think with an all-important message on how, as families, or as she described, that trusted adult working with children, we know that there's a lot of hope for tomorrow as we are dealing with this pandemic. But we also know that there's a lot of challenge and stress that we deal with today. And so being able to have a tool where our children can express themselves to us as parents or as trusted adults, I think that is very important, and also a sense of encouragement for what the adults are dealing with as well. So once again, to me, the virtual village has delivered, and we've added just another twist to the importance of literacy and how it can lead to freedom, whether it's dealing with your vocabulary or whether it's dealing with your emotions. There's so much that comes from the Literacy Gang, and just glad to be a part of it. And, thanks to the gang that's out there and the virtual villagers, and you all continue to support great programming like this, so others can benefit from what we have the opportunity to benefit from live stream. Thanks to technology, people can go back and they can watch Peyton, and they can watch Shania, and they can watch Kalila, and they can watch all the great community connectors that we bring up here as well.
And they can click there right now.
That's right. And they can do that too.
Yes,
so
yes.
That's my word for the night. And, thank you. And I look forward to being back with you next Tuesday.
All right. Thank you, Rodney. Thank you, Miss Frye. And you all have a wonderful evening. And we will see you again tomorrow with our Virtual Village teachers. Y'all know how we do. So y'all have a good night. Peace.